Okay, we are on time. Thank you, everybody, for joining us to this third English session. Uh, my name, for those who comes the first time, is Julio with Omar Bermudez, and today our special guest is the coach Luis Julio from Panama. So before we begin, we will share some features of the platform for you to interact with us during this session. We will work a lot with chat and with polls. So as soon as we got videos, we got interaction, we will make the polls through the platform, and you will be able to share your answer and then to comment any other thing you got in mind through the chat. So before we begin, we will share the first poll in which we want you to tell us how are you related to basketball. If you are a coach, if you are a player, if you are a referee, so we know approximately how is the percentage distributed inside the session. So the first poll is ready. You will be able to answer it. I think we are full of referees. Maybe one.
Pretty good. Your English is better than mine, man.
Where are the coaches? Where are the players? Okay. We are making these English sessions just to be able to communicate with other referees around the world who are not from our Latin American side, and creating content for you to have in the future. And we are having these sessions on Spanish on Tuesdays and English on Thursday. So we will keep this work. Okay, Omar, something to begin before we start? Omar, are you there?
I'm here. Sorry. Let me see.
¿Dónde tú eres, Omar?
From Mexico.
Okay, today the topic we'll talk about is about technical fouls. We had a very good discussion on Tuesday. I hope we will have the same today, and try to get from a coach point of view some comments about some situations of technical fouls, if they are leads by any frustration of the moment of the play, or maybe some strategy or tactic during the game. So we are having this index. We will first introduce our guest, then Omar will share with us some information related to technical fouls that is on the rule book, and then we will pass to our main topic to have a good discussion through videos and let you to participate too about some motivations that can lead to technical fouls. So the first question, it's not the first, the second question. I think some of you have watched the flyer, but we're still making this question in our polls for you to answer. Which is the country of birth of our guest? If you know, I think mostly we sure, but we will ask as we did on Tuesday. Okay. 88% is okay, saying he's from Panama, and some 9 to 10% thinks you are from Puerto Rico. So now we will give you the opportunity to introduce yourself and to say hello to our community.
Okay, thanks for having me here. I appreciate you call me because this is something I've been passionate all the time. All my life I play basketball. I am coaching the national team. So for me, express what I feel about the ref is going to be interesting to share my opinion.
Thank you. We got the coach who is from Panama, is coaching since 2009. He has been head coach of many of national youth teams in the area of Central America and Central Basket Championships, and he is also or was coach from the professional league here in Panama. So we are happy to have you here. We know it's a challenge for us, which are Spanish-speaking people, to try to interact and communicate with
Right.
people from Egypt, from Africa, Asia, and the other side of the continent. And now we will begin this session. So,
Okay, so moving forward with some information related on the application of the technical files. You'll see on the chat couple, well, another question. You got a couple options. The question is, which is the element inside the referee's preparation that is more related to the application of the technical files? So you got 5 options: ethic formation, physical capacity, technical preparation, philosophical activation, or philosophical management. So let's see how it moves.
Estamos en una prueba. Julio.
no, we are live. We are live with the people right now.
Oh, sorry about that.
We are live.
Okay, so the chart is moving. So we have a couple of options. Everybody's on the okay. Philosophical management is the main one that the people are choosing. So we got 58% on the philosophical management and 10% on the rest of them.
We
Okay.
had a discussion during our first session about these 5 topics, and I agree from my point of view also with you about how the technical files are related to the psychological management, because that's the topic in which it means interacting with people. So I think from my vote, it will be the same, psychological management. So Omar, what do you think? The same, or you are on another spot?
I'm okay with that. I'm okay. I'm agree. Okay, so moving forward on the rules, you can find this information on the rule book on the article 36. Rules of conduct. It says the proper conduct of the game demands the full and loyal cooperation of the players and all the people involved in the game. Excluded players, accompanying the delegation members. All the people who are involved in the game should cooperate with the proper development of the game. Each team shall do its best to secure victory, but this must be done in the spirit of the sportsmanship and the fair play. Any deliberate and repeated non-cooperation or non-compliance with the spirit of the intent of the rules shall be considered as a technical foul. Also, this is very important that the referees may prevent technical fouls by giving warnings or even overlooking minor infractions, which are obviously unintentional and have non-direct effect upon the game, unless there is repetition of the same infraction after the warning. So this is something common that we always see every game. Also, if an infraction is recognized after the ball becomes live, the game shall be stopped and a technical foul charge. The penalty shall be administered as a technical foul had occurred at the time it is charged. Whatever occurred during the interval between the infraction and the game being stopped shall remain valid. So moving forward, you can find this information on the rule book, article 36. Our intention is not to, give detailed information about the specific rule. So the question is, which is the main characteristic of the technical foul? You got two options. Doesn't involve contact, and the penalty includes the possession of the ball. So you can select one of those. And of course, after we got 80% on doesn't involve contact, and the penalty includes the possession of the ball, it is 11%. 90, 91, and 8, 92, and 7. Yeah, basically, this is something important to mention on this point, that especially on the technical fouls, we need to understand that if we give a technical foul on the game, it's because we don't have any physical contact between players. Everything is related with the conduct or a behavior, or even when we have, swinging elbows. We'll see this after this page. Everything is without contact. Let's move to the next page, please. Definition of the technical foul. It says the technical foul is a player non-contact foul of a behavioral nature, including but not limited to. So in the red square, so we can find the most typical, the most common points for the most common reasons why we have technical fouls in the game. The first one is disregarding warning given by the referees. The second is disrespectfully dealing and or communicating with referees, the commissioner, the table officials, the opponents, or person permitted to sit on the team benches. Third, using language or gestures likely to offend or incite the spectators. Also, betting and taunting an opponent, obstructing the vision of an opponent by waving, placing his hands near his eyes, especially when he's like shooting or something. Excessive swinging elbows. This is something important because sometimes we have the discussion between technical foul or an unsportsmanlike or ejection. So it is important that mention that when we have contact, it could not be a technical foul because there is some contact involved. Delaying the game by deliberately touching the ball after it passes through the basket, or by preventing a throw-in or a free throw from being taken promptly. Basically, after the basket, we grab the ball and throw it, or block the opportunity to a fast pass or fast break. Fake being fouled, hanging on the ring in such a way that the weight of the player is supported by the ring, unless a player grabs the ring momentarily following a dunk shot, or in the judgment of the referee is trying to prevent injury to himself or another player. And the last one is goaltending during the last free throw by defensive player. The offensive team shall be awarded 1 point, followed with by the technical foul penalty charged on the defensive player. So you'll find this information on the same article, 36.2. This is all the reasons or the points when we can have a technical foul in the game.
Okay. We always try to begin the session with the rule support of the topic we will be talking about. So Omar talks about all the rules of conduct and definitions. So now we will start our conversation with the coach to see how he thinks, some point of views, and then we will watch some videos to try to support or to give image to those words. So the first question to the coach will be for him to tell us about some spontaneous reactions a coach can have after a difficult call in a moment of high pressure. What do you think about any reactions that can come spontaneously during this scenario? It's not
So we can hear you.
That
Yeah.
sorry about that.
No, no.
Got it. I think it all depend about for coaches. It's all about emotion, and that depends on the case, on the moment of the play, how difficult can be the call for the ref, and some a specific moment that can we react and for any call that can be to the favor to the other team, and that's I think they have a lot of pressure the ref to make a call in that moment that can be change the all games. I think it's important for the ref and make the right call, and everybody having the in the same page like okay it's the right call, but you know sometimes we get out from the emotion, so it depends on the situation of the game. So that's that's practically I can say about it right now.
Yes, sometimes we try to we use the example of the spring, how a spring can comes big and then returns to its normal size. So when we got difficult calls on high pressure moments, we expect reactions for sure because that's an emotional moment, as you said. But we also expect that that reactions occurs, but then the coach or the player is able to return to its nature or its natural mood. So if that reactions don't gives or don't goes to something unacceptable in terms of respect, we can deal with that because that's the type of game we are referring. So we will share some clips in which you, with us and the people, will decide which reactions can be acceptable under this concept and which reactions cannot be acceptable because even though you are right, the way is the thing that is penalized. It's not because your argument, it's because the way you are given the argument in terms of respect. So we will share to Omar something.
Yeah. So it is more so about sometimes when we have some key calls or tough calls during the game. Yeah, so we mentioned before that it is important that we as a referees read properly or feel the moment or give them the opportunity because it is an emotional game. So of course every time that we have calls at the last second of the quarter, at the last second of the game, or especially when we have a technical foul or something like that. So we have a lot of emotions in the game. So we need to be smart in how we react because if we become emotional, then we have new stuff coming in, like technical fouls, like ejection, like properly fight during the game. So it is important that we are smart and we feel and uh, be able to control our emotions. I think that's the key word: control our emotions, because we don't need more emotions than that more in the game.
We will share some clips and we will work in this way. We give you the question, then we will watch the clip 2 times. Then the people will be able to give their opinion through the polls. Then we ask the coach, and then we give our comments. So we will work in this step by step during the whole session. So the first question for the first clip is: we will watch a call, we will watch the reaction of the coach, and then you will share with us if you think that the coach deserves a technical foul for that reaction, or if the coach presented an acceptable reaction and should not be penalized unless it is systematically. We will imagine that it's the first time he's doing that, not that he's doing that after every call. Imagine it's the first time, so you will be able to decide your action. Okay, people here, I think 88% thinks that the coach presented an acceptable spontaneous reaction and should not be penalized unless it's systematically repeated during the game. So that's what the people have shared with us. Now we ask the coach his point of view about the reaction of the coach after the fake technical foul.
mean, I think it's sometimes we see like you have to, the ref has to give you credit to the defense. Probably we saw like the point guard is driving too much the ball, and he closed the defense one time. The second time he used his elbow, and I mean, it's not fair to give that credit and call and don't give it credit to the defense. I think the reaction sometimes for us as a coach is coming with that effort that the defense make in the game, because it's close. I see the score is close, and that effort that you made that not make fouls, and sometimes, like I say, you have to control the emotions, but if the game is close, sometimes the reaction is not good for the ref. It's not good for the ref. It's not fair for us, and I mean, has to be a balance. But we understand the situation, and we have to accept the call.
Yes, we got a pressure moment is 3-point difference, 7 minutes of the fourth quarter. That was a Eurobasket final game. So as you said, the coach is expecting a charge, and then suddenly comes the signal of a technical foul to his player. So in that moment, it's like boom, explodes. But I agree with the people. I agree with you. Then Omar will share with us that he reacts, but then he immediately tried to calm down, to sit, to okay. So it is not like something he reacts and then he comes towards the referee and still arguing and coming to talk and coming into the court. So he reacts because he didn't expect that, but then he tries to came down and okay, keep going. So
it is important that so it is something that we can understand after we have this type of calls, because of course it is a close game, last minutes of the game, so we have this type of calls. Of course it changed completely the scenario. It mean 1 or 2 or 3 points on that deficit that we have in that moment. So talking on the referee perspective, on the referee, scenario. So we need to be ready for any reaction. So it doesn't mean that we need to be ready with the gun to shot the first reaction that we have. So we need to be ready to control, and we'll see after a couple of videos some examples on how to be ready. And this is a couple of examples that where the referee was ready in that moment. And it doesn't mean that you are shooting as a crazy to everybody with the text. So it means just be ready. Just be ready to give an explanation. Just be ready for call another check if it is necessary. But it means don't be emotional with that type of reaction, because of course we have a lot of pressure from outside on us, like, hey, control the game. And sometimes we or interpretation of control the game, it is completely different of what the supervisor trying to explain, right?
Omar, sometimes like we watching all the game, and we think sometimes we think like it's the same ref make the call all the time, and we take that personal. So I don't know what happened before the game, but sometimes that's come up for coaches, you know.
Yes, we
Yeah.
always try to come with a white mind to begin the game. For sure, we make some scouting, but we will have a session about scouting, but without that prejudice we sometimes uh, make, and it's not right, as you said.
Mhm.
We will share the next video about the same topic, is the same question. We will watch the reaction of the coach, and then you will decide if he deserves a technical foul for his reaction or if the reaction was acceptable, so he should not be penalized.
Rebels do have a timeout. Schuler, the runner. Offensive foul. And a technical foul, I believe, has also been levied against Kermit Davis. Take another look. There's no question Schofield's set. You agree? I agree 100%. I get it, the emotion of the moment. I've been there. Rebels do have a timeout. Schuler, the runner. Offensive foul. And a technical foul, I believe, has also been levied against Kermit Davis. Take another look. There's no question Schofield's set. You agree? I agree 100%. I get it, the emotion of the moment. I've been there.
Okay, the poll, I think the people is still voting, but until now there's 100% that he deserves a technical foul during this situation. So first we will listen to the coach opinions, and then we will share ours.
I heard for the comment for the people is narrowing the game. They are agree with the call with the coach. I don't think so. I think that I saw the defense was in good position, and that's a right call first. And I understand the game is close. Um, one uh, 1 point is the score. I don't know. It's that reaction. The reaction I can understand because you expect the call, the foul, but I don't know if you can check again the TV and see the review and explain to the coach what happened, and he can see. I mean, everybody can see it was a good defense, and the reaction again. I understand. I don't know what happened before, or the call probably is going to be um, probably going to be too much for the other team, and he say, okay, that's it. I can handle it with this no more. And the last game, the last minute of the game, that call. I mean, I can understand his reaction, but it wasn't a fall. Fall. It was a good defense.
Uh, I think that, as you said, he's reacting to the moment, not like trying to process the play itself. Because he is shooting, he needs a blocking foul to go ahead in the game. So sometimes is that way because he's not arguing the call in that moment. He's just reacting. And when we have that, then we use to try or to judge if that reactions comes forward the line of the respect. Because now we are not talking about block or charge. Now we are talking about how you react and this how might disrespect the referee's work. So we see that maybe in the NBA they got a screen and mostly of the coach are trained to first watch the replay and then react because
Right.
hey, I didn't watch properly. I watched the replay. Oh no, and then I come forward with the reaction. But in FIBA we don't have that replay on live or inside the gym. So it is everything about how he saw the play and then how he reacts and if the referee thinks that that reaction is acceptable or not. In this case, I agree with the people that is not acceptable, even though he might be right. It might be blocked, for example, if the defense moved. In this case, was not. But in the case he was right, even the reaction was too much to not be penalized.
Okay, so my talks about this play. Always, always, when we have these type of reactions, doesn't matter it's coming from a coach, assistants, or any person during the game that's on the court on the bench, the decision has the second turn. Why? Because these type of reactions are more than emotional. Of course, it is emotional, but this pass the line of the respect or the respect of the game. So, of course, that's the right call. So we need to understand and what's the consequence of our decisions. And on this one, we got a 1 point game. The offensive team is down by 1. Then we have this offensive foul. Of course, the reactions we can expect that. So we can expect that, and so we can react properly. It doesn't mean I need to react with the tech because this is something that we can talk. So we are not expecting to be ready to shot the first person that react. No, it doesn't mean that. It means that I need to be ready to react and address the people that I need to address to calm down their emotions or call the tech. Of course, I'm agreed that the coach deserved the technical foul, but something that we can talk about this video is how the non-calling officials is controlling the situation. And this is something that we need to learn now because so the point here is not it is an offensive or it is a defensive foul. This is not the main goal of this video. So the goal of this type of tapes is to rescue the key facts on the video. The key fact is the reaction, it is a technical or not. And another thing is learn from the non-calling official how to react because he's trying to do his job on cooling down the coach. And I think he did a great because the coach calmed down after he addressed him. So this is the 2 points that we can rescue from this video. Of course, there's an offensive foul. It deserves a tech, yes, but it doesn't mean that we don't need to react. And he's reacting without another technical foul. He's just cooling down the coach. And I think this is something that we need during the game most of the time.
Now going, Omar, I think know what's the next topic will come about how after a technical foul, then we got the communication. So Omar,
Okay, so the question here is, what type of, you as a coach, or from your point of view, what the type of immediate approach by the referees does a coach prefer after being penalized with a technical foul? I mean, most of the times, so we're giving the coaches a technical foul, and it is good that the people now know, because sometimes you need some space so you can cool down, or you need an explanation or something. So what's your talk about that?
I mean, it's all depend about the situation, because probably you can see me not comfortable with the call, and I be mad with you coming close to me and say, hey, relax, or something, because happen sometime, like a ref see me mad, and he tried to I guess it's not intentional. It's if a reaction is come to calm down, but some coaches don't like that, like because in that moment you think like you're going to make that personal. For me, sometimes I think, hey, but why he come too close to me and say me all that thing? Why he don't do with that with the other coach? And then sometimes for me, I need some space, and I just look at them and okay, that's your call, and it be apart. Probably sometimes I prefer that something else, or the second ref come to me and say, hey, um, I understand. He was in better position, and explain something to me that I can calm down, and that happens sometimes. I think he have some tactic that the ref has to be to line the coach, and to line the coach to the good direction.
Yeah, so based on that, I'm agree. So based on that, so we have another question. It says, "When the immediate approach as referees, do you consider more positive after a coach penalized with a technical foul and his continuing are going, assuming that the referee who calls the play is the same one who called the technical foul?" So you got a couple of options now. None of the referees should approach the coach. The referee who doesn't not call the technical foul approaches the coach to calm him if necessary. And the third is the referee who calls the technical foul approaches the coach to explain the situation that was called.
B for me.
B.
I think people agrees also.
I think most of the people are on the same position. So something that we need to talk now. So we don't have the right answer right here. Of course, every game and every situation is completely different. So of course we need the coach or the player need the approach of the referee, or sometimes they don't need it because it can become bigger, and then the consequences are, another tech ejection, whatever it is. And how many times we see during the games, example, the coach the referee calls a technical foul, and then we have like 10 seconds after that communication or discussion, or open discussion, I mean friendly, between the referee and the coach, or the referee and the player. And sometimes we have the situations where we have the technical foul and the coach is asking for something and we never respond to that. Why? Because it doesn't mean the A, the B, or the C is the right answer. it is the right answer is on our feelings during the game. You know, go move forward.
Yes, I want to share
Oh, yeah.
something in this because when it's give me the situation of the coach continue arguing, it's okay. I got the technical foul, but I continue arguing. Sometimes we try to don't have a second technical foul on the same play because he's still arguing the play he received the first technical foul. So sometimes not approaching him might be an answer. So he continues, then he calms down. But then as a referee, we have to know if he continues, we need to manage the situation.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's like more appropriate that the non-calling, as you said, the other referee comes and try to intermediate, sometimes not to explain the call because he didn't call, but trying to calm you down so you are not ejected because of that play or got penalized twice. So now we got our
Okay,
next.
we have, sorry, we have, if you have any question or comment, so you can type it on the chat. A couple of people said we need to approach the coach or give him a warning before they give you the text. So it is not something the same. Sometimes it could be like that. Sometimes we need to give the text directly. So we never know. Uh, so we play the next video. This is an example about what we are talking about right now. So you have two options also. So you can answer them after you saw it. Yeah.
First quarter of basketball we've had. It's going back and forth now. Already a few lead changes. 4 points for Deck coming off the bench. Now Guderic. Bielitsa. He goes in strong and gets blocked by Heyura. And now a charge called on Whelan. And now a technical foul has been called by Sergio Hernandez. Or called on Sergio Hernandez. No, easy. Hey, easy. Easy. Speak to me. Speak to me. Speak. Don't make gesture. Speak. Speak. Are you listening? This is crazy. What's foul? What's up his foul? Easy. What's up his foul? No, it's up and down the shelf. No, it's open. Okay, that's it. We'll have another look at it because he took you there. Well, yep. All three refs are mic'd up, as you now know. And you heard the exchange. And obviously, first quarter of basketball we've had. It's going back and forth now. Already a few lead changes. 4 points for Deck coming off the bench. Now Guderic. Bielitsa. He goes in strong and gets blocked by Heyura. And now a charge called on Whelan. And now a technical foul has been called by Sergio Hernandez. Or called on Sergio Hernandez. No, easy. Hey, easy. Easy. Speak to me. Speak to me. Speak. Don't make gesture. Speak. Speak. Are you listening? This is crazy. What's foul? What's up his foul? Easy. What's up his foul? No, it's up and down the shelf. No, it's open. Okay, that's it. We'll have another look at it because he took you there. Well, yep. All three refs are mic'd up, as you now know. And you heard the exchange. And obviously,
80% on the referee who does not call the technical foul does a good job lowering the coach tension. 20% on the referee who calls the offensive foul and the technical foul had approached the coach to explain the criteria. What do you think about that?
I guess the reaction of Sergio was a wrong, and I think from some ref they make a technical foul because I saw in the video and he run like 3 meters. I don't know if you can see that, but that's a reaction that can provoke another thing. But I think the ref was smart in that situation. He tried to calm down and he handled it pretty well.
Julio.
I agree totally. Sometimes this type of play is difficult to us because we try that the referee who makes the decision or the big decision is not the same referee that calls the technical foul as we are like working together. But in this play specifically, we have the play right next to the coach. So it's not easy that a referee who is arriving the other half of the court or is 15 meters away comes with a technical foul after the reaction. So in this case, I agree with the people. I agree with you that the referee who did not call comes because if the coach continue arguing, then it might.
Of course.
He thinks that hey, I argue you got a technical, but I still don't have any communication with any of you. So I agree with you. I agree with the people that he comes and then he comes down. It was a second period quarterfinal of the World Cup, so it's important for the coach. He was penalized for that reaction, but he still on the game, communicating with the referee when necessary.
Something that I said before, this is a perfect sample and how to have that awareness and how to have the leadership to get involved quickly on the tough situations because we can see and I was that type of referees on my beginnings where after we have this type of calls or reactions we are like where's the ball? So I'm going away from the play. I'm going away from the problems. Why? Because we are not trying. We don't want to be the persons who are always on the spotlight. So this is the perfect sample of leadership and awareness on control of the game, and this is something that you cannot learn on the school or you cannot learn on the books. It's something that you're learning with the experience game by game. And of course, something that we can mention right now. So we need to understand also so the coaches and the players, they don't need to agree with our decisions. And this is the example because Sergio is like expressing, I don't agree with the call. And no matter what you say, I don't agree with that. And this is something that Cristiano knows, but the intention is to cooling down him, speak to me, tell me what you think. And this is something that we need to adopt to our refereeing that, hey, tell me. Okay, great. I'm gonna agree with the call. This is a really bad call, blah, blah, blah. Great. But we are cooling down the situation. We address the situation, and of course, as Julio said, so he already has a technical foul, so we cannot give him another one. So this is I mean, perfect example of leadership and awareness. Nothing else. That's all.
And also, a key point for the referees who are with us is as he approached, the first thing he said was, don't make gestures, because that's how we begin the communication. We cannot communicate with the coach if the coach is making a lot of gesture because the people are thinking something different than the thing we are talking about. So as I say, you don't make gesture, then we can start to communicate. So we don't make any scene in which everybody knows you are disagreeing, but you are not making those gestures that can create more tension during the communication. And the technology, the World Cup, you see how the referees were wired, and now we are able to listen what they say so we can learn from these great experiences.
And something to say, Julio.
Mhm.
Sometimes the reaction of the players too make another, like, the support, the reaction of the player make us to react like Sergio did, and sometimes we do it because we try to, hey, uh, pay attention to your call of my team, or to be partial to the other team. And sometimes then come up, and before that call, some ref call to the favor, three calls to the favor to the other team, and then you realize like, hey, it's time, like, my
To
voice
make
may
pressure.
be here.
Yes, I think you are coming forward for the next question. So we will make the next question for the coach is the last topic, and I think he's here. Okay, we will wait. Now, the last question is this: are there situations when the coach behavior that leads to a technical foul beyond frustration represents any strategy with a specific purpose? That's the question, depending on if that strategy is for the rest of the game or is for the rest of a competition. So you have some comments or some uh,
Uh,
your point of view.
my point of view, sometimes it depend of the game, like World Cup. I can imagine how pressure going to be, the pressure for the ref, and for us, and sometimes, and we see like the emotion come up, and the reaction with the ref is mad sometimes, because any call is good for our team, and I believe sometimes we do it because we scream into the sometimes we scream into the ref, because we try to create that partial call sometimes, and like you say, sometimes it's the leadership of the ref, and how object, or how the leadership and the call coming, or coming from who, because what I say, sometimes it's the same ref call the play. I don't know. I for sure you have some guys that can make the call always the same call, but and in my position, sometimes I do like, hey, I screaming because uh, it's not right, it's not fair for making that score for my team, you know. So I use my high voice, I make noise, and the respectfully, but try to change sometimes the equation, to try to make some call for my team too, because I don't see that you being impartial for the team. So that's all we call in my mind, but and that's something to have to share with my teams, with my players, because all players think like sometimes we not doing nothing. The ref is calling, and the coach didn't say nothing, and they not see the support of his coach. And that everybody try to, hey, if you see something wrong, how you're going to react with the ref, and that sometimes becoming hard, and I have a technical foul, but sometimes I change the direction of the game, because I react in some way, and I get my technical foul, but I get
After
a
you.
good game for the ref. And that happened.
Yes, for sure it happens. So that's why we will share a question with the people before watching any video. And then after the question, I will share some comments, Omar, too. And the question is, what, from our point of view, and you who are watching the session, what could motivate a coach to act deliberately to receive a strategic technical foul? The option A is motivate his player during the game to improve their attitude towards an adverse situation. The second option is cause a change in the referee team criteria to receive more 50-50 calls in his favor. And the last is to send a message of disagreement towards the next game or the rest of the competition. So you can start voting so we can share your answers. We'll give you some time for you to read. The poll is moving, but I think the second option or the option B have 57%, as they say it might be to cause a change in the referee team's criteria. So I think they agree with you. My point of view in this is that we can have any of them. It depends on the situation. Sometimes, as you said, we are down by 10, down by 15, and sometimes the team needs some like shock, something to wake them up. The coach can have a technical fouls. It happens mostly on baseball, in which the coach make him got tossed, and then the teams try to react to that toss. But in the second, as you said, and this is a message for the referees to, okay, we got your point of view and we got the referee point of view, and sometimes we as a referee, we don't want problems, so we try to avoid, as Omar say, okay, I'm going to get the ball because I am trying to go away from the troubles. And when we got a technical foul, after that, we try to avoid problems. We try to get to steal or to cause some difficult against that coach because I'm thinking he will be a problem again. And that might not be right, because we need to keep the criteria before the technical foul and after the technical foul. And then the coach will see if this is working or not. If he got the technical foul, but the referee is still calling the same. So sometimes when we got big leagues, or sometimes when you watch the same referee one game and then another game, then you might know which referee you can do that and which referee you cannot do that. It is all about how you prepare and how you are scouting the game. And the last, send a message of disagreement towards the next game. It might come because, okay, the game is lost already. We are down by 25. The game is finishing, and it's not the same finish the game seated on the bench or finish the game trying to create some tension. So the referees who are coming for the next game, they have that situation in mind. And it happens if it is a short tournament or it's a semifinal series that we lost game 1 and 2, and you are not going to see how the game ends. You will make something, so the game 3, you try to come with some advantage in this area. And this is my opinion. Omar, what do you think about that?
Well, it's like a suggestion or something. Of course, the coaches, they have their reasons why they react or why they complain, and we cannot judge them on the personal point of view, right? So, the key point and the suggestion that I can have right here is don't make it personal as a referee. I mean, so don't bring your personal emotions to that game, to that situation, because you were always gonna lose. Always. If you bring your emotions to this situation, of course, every single call or every single decision that you make is not the right decision to the game. It is the right emotional decision on your point. So my suggestion is don't don't judge the coaches or the players, or don't prejudge them before the game or before the action or after the call. So just make your decision and make the right or the best decision to the game. So don't bring your emotions, or don't let your emotion to get involved with the whistle, because then after that we can analyze the game, we can analyze and we can talk everything around the call, and we can find that that's an emotional call. That's why you always see referees like reacting or calling technical fouls like up like this. Why? Too calm, because they are trying to let the emotions away. So I think this is the key point right here. Why they do that? I don't know. So we can talk about that. Coaches can tell us why, but this is not our work to judge them. It's just referee the situation, call everything that we need to call, and that's all. Don't talk about that after. Don't take it personal, because then next game is gonna be you will change your refereeing so that your criteria will be different than the first that the last game.
Coach, something before going to the video, if you want to share any other
That is
comments?
a good point, as Omar said. The last word he say, because we saw is you calling, you making bad call. We for sure we're going to the table and say I don't want that ref in the next game. That create like a personal situation, and that happen. I think that happened with all coaches when you have a bad game or the ref had bad game, and we talk about it as a coach. I can talk with the other coach. Hey, today I was a bad ref calling so, and that is important for the game. I think you have a lot of work, and I respect now what you're doing. That's I think this is important. I put in your position, and I appreciate hear all the things you say about it. Thank you.
Thank you, coach.
Okay. Now we are going to watch our last video. The question is, this one we will watch it once, only one time, because it's long, the video, and you will answer if you think that the coach tries to change the criteria for the rest of the game, or the coach tries to send a message of disagreement for the next game or the rest of the competition.
Jump hook. That leads to just kind of alligator arms it. Short. And Rubio lost it. Rubio. And Markovic now is arguing his case, as is Djordjevic. Markovic's going to get a technical if he's not careful. Classic Djordjevic is actually in the floor and arguing. He's got the technical. And to be honest, Johnny wanted it, didn't he, really? Sometimes coaches go looking for the team. Oh, he's asking for it, no doubt. Well, he's annoyed. And the Serbs, effectively, it's a home game for Spain. Victor Claver is called for a moving screen. Djordjevic is really starting to bristle, and that's his second technical. And Coach Aranga's got a technical, and Djordjevic is going to have to leave the building. We saw Coach Djordjevic played professional basketball in Spain. Played for both Real Madrid, and he also played on the Barcelona team. Coach Djordjevic right now is having a word with his team. He's like a drill instructor right now. He's fighting for his troops, Sean. The players will respond to that, won't they? Oh, they definitely will.
I think it is very okay. 61%. I think it continues moving. 61% thinks that the coach tries to send a message of disagreement toward the next game or the rest of the competition. So, coach, what do you think about taking consideration about the time and score? It was around 2 minutes to go with 20 points difference, losing
Yes.
Serbian team.
Yes, I'm pretty sure it's something messy for the next game because the game was lost a bad game for Serbia, and the frustration, you can see the frustration, but sometimes you want to use that like a motivation for the players. And again, the game was a lost game, so um, you try to change the perception of the game, yelling to the ref. I think that is something message to the next game. I think it's option B.
Uh, from my point of view, is sometimes we as a referee, when we watch 20-point game, 3 minutes to go, 2 minutes to go, we reduce the concentration. And sometimes these situations comes up, and when the game finish, we think like, why it happened? It was 20-point game. Why did he react like that? Okay, we missed the out of bounds. We made something wrong, but why he did it? And we are like frustrated because it was supposed to finish clean, but then it finished with an ejection. And we are trying to think too much, as some more say, instead of trying to get the play right and then think whatever comes to our mind after. So that specific tournament was the 2014 World Cup, and Serbia, that was a group phase game, and they lost 2 games. Then they lost that third game, and after that game, they won all the other games and played the final with the USA, and they got the silver medal. So, as you say, then it can come to my mind. Hey, that's a motivation. Everybody saw in the video when he says, "We are coming. We are coming," to the court and to the players that, hey, we have lost 3 games, but we are not out yet. So we can still come in. And they did. They go and they play the final. So it's a good example of we need to keep concentrated until the end. But then if some of these things arrives or comes, we don't want to know exactly the why, but we want to know, okay, what might cause this to happen and why the game, a 20-point game, didn't finish properly or without any problem.
We try to not make it easy for you.
Omar, what do you think?
It's a really tough situation because, as you said before, even when we have uh, really open game, it is like 10 points, 15 points, something like that in the last 2-3 minutes of the game. Of course, our task or goal as a referee team is to take the game to the happy ending. It's like or first goal or commitment in that moment is to just run the game. So run the game because the game is already done with 2 and 3 minutes remaining. So of course it is really special to say every decision that we make in the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game on this type of situations, these type of games, especially on when we are in a playoff or bracket system, it is really important that we know the consequences of our decision. So we need to be ready. And if we analyze a video, everything comes after the out of bounds. Of course, it looks like the ball it should be given to Russia, but it doesn't matter. It is not the key point. It is that the coach in that moment is trying to express his frustration, his position, and he's trying to send a message saying that I don't want to be here. It's like I don't wanna. So we are already done. We are already done. So be careful with your decisions on the last minute of the game because it can become a problem on the game. So the key point right here is the out of bounds. After the out of bounds, we have everything. We have a technical foul, of course, because the reaction. We had a potential ejection. Everything calmed down in that moment, apparently. But after that, a minute after the call, we have a coach like trying to finding or trying to complain about all the small things on the game. And this is the reason why our decisions should be really, really important, especially at the end of the game. So don't think because the game is 10 points, it is a 10-point game, it doesn't matter. Of course it matters. So be careful and overthink your decisions. So be ready for their reactions. So don't justify your decisions with because the coach becomes crazy. We don't know why. And then we see the video and then we found the why. So this is the only thing that I can say.
Now, as you can start making your question through the chat, we will share before because we had like learning together segment during our session in which we invite the people to send us a video of a situation that is related to the topic of that we are discussing. So in this case, we got a video from Mauricio Chinchilla from Costa Rica, who is asking about the correct timing to call the technical foul and not affect the team who got the ball. So we will share the video and then we will share the comments.
Zoric, short. Sakic with the rebound. Now Reynolds. Reynolds to Sakic, no look pass to Zoric, and Howard just stood there and took it away. And I tell you, it's getting testy. And Molomerovic has been hit with a technical foul. I think he's got it wrong, Molomerovic, because it looked like Howard didn't leave his feet, had his arms straight up. And there may have been some contact. So the technical put Strasbourg on the line.
And the first question we will make to the coach. If you are the coach of the white team that make a good defense, get the ball, start the transition, and then when you are just to finish the transition, 3 versus 2, 3 versus 3, then comes a whistle of a technical foul against the opponent coach. What will you think in this situation, or what will be your point of view?
I will get mad because you have to give your credit to the defense. You have to give your credit to the defense, and in the transition, you make good defense. I don't see foul with the big guy, and you make a good transition and try to make that call. I think it's not fair for the defense, because for us, like a coach, or value, the most we can get for a team is we work too much on our defense, like we deserve a good call. If you provoke that transition, I mean, in you call before make the basket, and we have 3-2 offensive advance. I mean, it's not fair for the team and for the defense and for the coach that work too much about his defense.
Yes, for sure. Sometimes this is the type of call in which we got everybody mad. We don't have only mad the coach who got the technical foul. We also got mad the other coach who is in other terms that is receiving the technical in his favor. So I will share my point of view. Then Omar can do his. Sometimes technical fouls, as we saw, are fouls that does not involve contact. So as them does not involve contact, there is not the same timing of calling a UF or calling a personal foul. Timing between the contact and the call. And here, as we got like behavior situations, we are not like we must not call it immediately, as some are saying, trying to keep our emotions. And then when we decide to call, we need to be sure that we are not putting anything in disadvantage. And in this case, we are putting in disadvantage the team that is about to finish a transition. So my point of view is we can delay a bit until the transition finish. If the team decide to stop and pass the ball outside or something extra, then we now have the time to call. But if they are going straight to the ring, we might wait the transition to finish and then comes with a technical foul, knowing that also it cannot be too late after the action, because then it will like lose the context of the call that we are making. But always that concept of don't putting anybody in disadvantage. Omar?
Okay, so my point right here is, if we are in a gym where we have 100%, I mean, that's an amateur game. So what the 100% are looking for in that moment? So everybody's looking the ball, right? If we are in an arena with 5,000 people, all the 5,000 people are looking the player with the ball because they are fans. So they are fanatics. So they are coming to watch dunks, to watch passes, to watch 3-point shots. So my point with that is, when we have a transition, the ball going away from the coach who is complaining, nobody cares about that. Nobody's watching that. So we have, based on that, two options. Just complaining with gesticulations, and we have a coach complaining with gesticulation, screaming, and coming into the court, getting into the court. That's different. I think right here, so we need to be smart on the timing of the tech, because this is like the second chance for him. I'm not talking about it is a good or wrong decision before on the layup. It is completely independent with this situation. As I said before, if I make the right decisions, we can expect a complaining. If I make a wrong decision, I can expect the double complaining. You know. So my point is, just be smart, because is on my point of view, if you call the check in this right specific moment, so you're taking away 2 points from the offensive team. So if you say, hey, it is 2-against-1 fast break, so we never know if they're gonna make the basket because they didn't release it, or they were so far away from the basket, but it doesn't matter. So my point is, so you can take away that basket opportunity, because this is like a double advantage for the coach who is complaining. So my point, so if the referee didn't touch the check, what is the best time to call? This is what I'm saying. My point right here is, just be smart. So just be smart. So give the coach a second opportunity. If you cannot give him the second opportunity, and this is because he's on the court complaining, he's going to create contact with the referee, that's different. So you need to hit him immediately. But give him the second opportunity after the play finished, and finish means we have a release to the basket, or we have the ball, they are pulling back the ball, they are finish or stopping the fast break. And then if we still having the complaining, if we still having some screams or gesticulations or coach on the court, then you can make that decision. But if you are taking the decision with the ball is in the half court during a transition, this is a double advantage for him. Indirectly, this is an advantage, and they know, and this is why they do it. This is the truth. So don't let them to be smarter than you. So just be smart. Just be smart. So don't create a conflict, an unnecessary conflict, because you are being emotional. And this is again the same point. So don't be emotional, because if you are emotional, of course, you will call the take immediately, and then you're taking away the offensive opportunity, the basket opportunity, and then we have a. And so if we talk about that on the video break or analysis, instead of talking just about the technical and the decision, we are talking about the decision, the basket opportunity, the timing, and we are bringing more facts to the analysis. That's my point.
Remember also that now the penalization of the technical foul is only one free throw. It's not the possession of the ball. So as referees, before calling the technical foul, we need to know where is the ball, which team has the ball, and then we know how to comes after that free throw. So if we are calling emotionals and the ball is loose, then we need to come with a jump ball situation. So it's good to know, and that's good for us to reduce emotion. Watch the situation, okay, that's the surfer technical, but before I need to watch where is the ball, what is happening, and then I can come back to the technical foul. So you can make your questions. I think we have answered some of them. We have other here that says it is okay to take a couple seconds with the rest of the referee at the point to cool down and make a right decision on the out of bound before kicking out the coach. I think that's the play of the Serbian team. The first technical foul was because of the out of bound. But the second technical foul was because the Spanish team got an illegal screen and the coach complained normally. And then the Serbian coach was mad because why is he complaining and you call me a technical foul because that, and now you are not calling on him, because that's why the big situation of the ejection occurred. So if you have any other question, you can type on the chat. It can be for us, it can be for the coach. So before we finish, I would like to show our next session of the next week. Next Thursday, we'll have our fourth digital session in which the topic will be intervals and timeouts. Enough to communicate is the question. How we use this short period of times to communicate during the game. And the special guest will be the referee, Jose Carrion, who is a FIBA elite referee from Puerto Rico and is actually an NCAA Division I referee and have worked on FIBA World Championships and Olympic Games. So we will have this session next Thursday, the same time, the same channel. So we have here, I think we are having.
And I want to add a comment about the technical foul situation. This is something like the ping pong game. Do you play that before? I think we all know I'm really bad on that game, but I can understand that analogy coming or putting that analogy on the table. The first reaction of the coach is like, I hit the ball and the ball is coming. So I need to take second opportunity. And after the second opportunity, if the ball coming again, then you said, okay, that's the time. That's basically, and that's example of the video that we saw on the Argentina's coach. This last video of the fast break, and also if you want to say that on the first video on the coach complaining on the offensive foul. So basically that's the analogy. So just be patient. Just be patient. It doesn't mean we need to be a police officer on the court, like trying to find the infractions. Just wait for the infraction coming to you. That's the point.
Coach, any final comment you want to share about the session we got?
Well, that's something Omar said. Don't be exciting about make a call, because we saw all the time the ref want to call something, and it sometimes not the right call. And I appreciate you having me here. I hopefully I understand my English. I will have sometimes not practice too much, but thank you for having me here. And I know the hard work you have, uh, you haven't, and you had to do in the court. And we appreciate that for all basketball coaches and players. And you have a lot of work to do, and that's a hard work.
Okay, we have any other question you have typed? From my point of view, thank you for being with us here. Sometimes it's not easy to express and interact between coach and referee. Sometimes we want that inside the court we don't have any barrier, but sometimes we are putting that barriers outside the court or not being able to communicate with each other. So I'm very happy with the session. I know we are having the session on Spanish for easier for us to communicate, but we are making our effort to have it in English also to create that content for all our colleagues on Asia and Africa and other sides of the world. So if there are any other question, I think Omar, we can, okay, we have here a comment of Ibarra. He said, I agree, if there's contact with the ref, the technical is mandatory, but try not to affect the attack of the other team. Calling technical with 4 seconds delay, it is just the same, have the same effect. The action happens. Everybody watch the action. And Omar says, if the action is not that big, you can go and then watch if he don't have that action anymore. If the action is big, like a contact or something, then you need to call, because you cannot send a message that can happen during the transition. Then they will touch you during the transition. So you can let finish the transition, and then you can cut to the technical foul, because that's something that the message is that it's not acceptable during the game. So Omar?
Yes. So just to finish, I want to thank you, Luis, for open your, open yourself to the opportunity to talk with us about something that is really hard to discuss. Having interaction between coaches and players, coaches and even players and referees outside the court, it is completely different, because of course everybody have a different point of view. Everybody have a different goal or perspective, and we respect that. And thank you for being here and for share with us your your thinking, your perspective. It was really helpful for us. And thank you for all the people that are following us week by week. And if you have any question, any video, anything that you have to share with us, please send us a message by mail, by any of the platforms that we have available for you. And well, that's all.
Okay. Thank you very much. See you. I think here they are asking about the Central American time zone. We will share for sure in the next email, even though it's English session, we will share all the time zones for you to be like ready on time. So thank you very much. See you.